Hello folks and welcome to another Premodern video. This one is going to be super sweet. We're going to be playing a deck brand new coming out of Spanish Nationals, which this is the largest paper tournament ever for the Premodern format. It took place this past weekend, and this deck is a little bit of a hybrid between one deck that I love and one deck that I have been eyeing for a while and that I'm very interested in checking out. So this was kind of like my gateway drug to give this deck a shot. I have a quick disclaimer to make though. Round 2, my audio got a little bit messed up, so what I did is I grabbed round 2 and I put it all the way at the very end right before the wrap up. So if you are interested in checking out round 2, you can do so right there, and if you are not, I didn't want to interrupt the flow of the video, so I threw round number 3 right after round 1. So apologize for that, but hopefully you will enjoy the video just as well. And without any more talking, let's get right into it. This deck is what's called Fling-a-Nought. I think it's the name that the creator Carlos Orellana was giving to it. I like to call it Nought-a-Tog. I think it just rolls off the tongue beautifully. And this is a very interesting version of kind of a hybrid between Blue-White Dreadnought and Nought-a-Tog. Very powerful cards and some pretty cool interactions that are happening here. So we have your meddling mages and we have a mana base that is held together by a thread by Mox Diamond, City of Brasses, and I added one singleton copy of Undiscovered Paradise. We have your meddling mages, your Psychotog, and instead of Quirion Dryad, which is a card that most folks have been pretty low on out of the Nought-a-Tog deck, and folks are always trying to find for an alternative, well, Carlos actually did, and that alternative is Phyrexian Dreadnought, which we're comboing, of course, with Vision Charm and Stifle, and we actually get to throw some flings into the mix. One, because we can cast it, thanks to Mox Diamond and like our Rainbow mana base, but also because it kind of combos very nicely as well with Psychotog. So we do get to kind of double up on the fling combo pieces, I guess, to call it somehow, and create a very surprise punch for our opponent's faces. We are, of course, rounding things out with some cantrips, and then we have some counter spells, Fire Ices, which is probably like the single best card in blue and red colors, and one of the very main reasons to be playing something like Blue-Red Dreadnought. Unfortunately, Blue-Red Dreadnought's mana is kind of unsolvable, so that's a little bit of a knock against that particular version of the deck, but this card is still fantastic. We also have a singleton copy of Foil and 4 copies of Gush. I did go ahead and make some changes from Carlos's list. The first one is that this deck is actually Carlos' version was playing only 3 Opt and 4 Portent, and was playing a couple of copies of Sylvan Library, but he was not playing Undiscovered Paradise. So he actually had less lands and less cantrips than I do, but still with only 8 cantrips. Like the Nought-a-Tog deck gets to play 17 lands because it plays 12 1-mana cantrips, and then I think they also run some number of impulses, and that combination right there is what allows the deck to run 4 copies of Mox Diamond and a very low land count and get away with it. We do not have either the cantrips, and we have less than that. Carlos was making up for it with Sylvan Library, but Sylvan Library in a deck that has only 8 green colored sources is something that I was not comfortable with, so I made some changes for that. Also, Carlos only had 3 copies of Gush, which I thought was funny considering Gush is kind of the best card in the deck. So I added the 4th copy, and I added the extra land, the extra cantrip to smooth things out. He also had some Daces, which is a card that I'm not a fan of, so I cut the Daces for counter spell to allow me to play a little bit of a longer game. And this is what we ended up with. Then in the sideboard, we have some copies of Armageddon. He actually played 1 Armageddon and 1 Disenchant in the main deck, which freed up some sideboard slots for him, but I actually had to go ahead and put these cards in the sideboard instead. But we do get to play the who's who of the best cards in every color, literally, because we have a Rainbow mana base, which is very nice. So we have Swords to Plowshares, Disenchant, Ray of Revelation, and Armageddon as our juke against some certain matchups. We have 2 copies of Hydroblast / Blue Elemental Blast and 2 Red Elemental Blast / Pyroblast, which are fantastic cards, some of the best cyber cards that this color combination has to offer against the proper color, of course. And then 2 copies of Engineer Plague, one of the best cyber cards in the format. We also have another copy of Psychotog. I'm bringing this in matchups where I want to be cutting down on the Dreadnought plan, so that's why I wanted to have a 2nd copy, and I was considering even a 3rd copy in the sideboard, but I couldn't find room for it. But yeah, so we're going to be trying this out in a Premodern League in the Magic Online Society. If you're enjoying the content, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button, and I will see you for round number 1. Round number 1 of this league. Let's see what we got. A terrible hand, that's what we got. This is better, but not by much. I guess this one I'm going to keep. I think we just bought on the foil. It's interesting here whether we want to expose ourselves to enchantment removal. I guess we can technically protect it with Vision Charm. Yeah, I think it's probably worth it. So let's play the Mox, pitch the city, and we're just gonna opt right now. Bottom that counter spell. Okay, cool. So if we find a land, we are cooking now. Any land will do. Playing against basic planes. Okay, there you go. Yeah, I'm probably just going to just play into a removal spell. Unfortunately, I don't think that this deck is good at protecting Dreadnought, so unless I wait until I have 4 mana so that I can fling this Dreadnought in the same turn, this is just not even worth pursuing. Like, it's not worth sandbagging my Dreadnought until I can protect it. I think I'm just better off just going for it. On the plus side, if my opponent taps out for anything, we just blow them out, so that's nice, because we swing for 12 and then we fling. Okay, never mind. Not that one. That one I cannot beat. Okay, so they're gonna take 12, and hopefully they're not gonna have an answer, or they're gonna have an answer that I can stifle. There's an attack for 12, and this is what I got. Hopefully there's no Swords to Plowshares / Disenchant in my future. There's a Swords to Plowshares. If only this were a Vision Charm, but unfortunately it's not. It's kind of remarkable how many terrible draws we have from here, which is one of the issues with this deck, right? Like, it's an interesting concept, it's a fun concept, but it is actually, like, Gush is a terrible draw from here, which would otherwise be kind of our best draw under normal Dreadnought circumstances. Oof. Yeah, this is devastating. Double Gerard's Verdict. Trying to think what's the best thing that can happen for us here. I'm not even sure. But yeah, we are effectively erasing our deck's variance by building it in such a fashion. So I guess that we can draw land into Dreadnought. Okay, that's a land. So now if we top deck a Dreadnought, we can actually win, even if my opponent flips this Angel. So that part is cool. Yep, they flip the Angel. And now Dreadnought off the top. Dealer. Medley Mage. Yeah, that one's not gonna cut it. I'll probably still naming Swords to Plowshares here. It's gonna be pretty hard to raise this Angel though. Oh, I should have probably named Vindicate actually. My opponent has mana to cast that, and we're in a situation where they can blow up my lands and stuff, so I have very low hopes of winning this game with how things are going. Even with my opponent missing land drops over there, because I should have named Vindicate. And now even drawing a Dreadnought doesn't do it anymore. I guess I can hardcast a foil with this. Even Psych-a-Dog doesn't do anything. Though I guess I don't even have Psych-a-Dog. Yeah, I'm just gonna pack it in. Like, we're just moving on with our lives here. So we're playing against this deck, where Armageddon is pretty good. So let's bring that in. And I think that's about it. I'm assuming my opponent is gonna be playing some form of the black-white control deck. Maybe they have like tutors. Some people have been playing tutors and stuff, which I think it's pretty bad, but I don't think I want E-Plague. Like, I don't think that a bunch of tokens is a problem, and also we just have Fire Ice in this list, so let's cut a foil. I definitely like the flings. I want the counter spells. Maybe I can shave a Mox, maybe a couple of Moxen. No, actually I do like the Moxen with Armageddon. I don't think we can realistically afford to cut a City of Brass, so we're gonna have to look for our stuff somewhere else. I could cut a Dreadnought, but I don't think that's where I want to be. Let's just cut a Fling. No, Fling is just good against Swords to Plowshares decks. Fire Ice, it's nice because it's a potential answer to a morphed Angel. So I do like Fire Ice quite a bit. Maybe the cut is Medley Mage, as odd as that may seem. Yeah, I think so. We get to be on the play here. Once again, an unkeepable, embarrassing hand. Once again, an unkeepable, embarrassing hand. Well, this one, I guess that we can keep, though. So let's bottom a Flooded Strand, I guess. And I guess we hope my opponent doesn't have Duress on one. And we hope this Gush does way more work than it has any business doing. Mull to 5 for my opponent. We do get some island action here. Yeah, that sucks for me. So there goes the Gush. Hopefully we find a Medley Mage off the top. That would be nice. If I find a Dreadnought, do I Charm? That's a good question. I'm not even sure if I do. Opt. Let's play the island and send the turn back. If my opponent finds enough Gerard's Verdict, they may not even care about the mulligan, honestly. Let's see what we got here. Fling's gonna go to the bottom. Medley Mage. It's not terrible. Fire and Ice is actually not an awful pickup, because if my opponent plays a morphed Angel, now I can just kill it. I am going to just name Swords to Plowshares. The most efficient answer my opponent has access to. Also can potentially allow them to use their mana effectively right there. Please morph an angel. Do it. Play City of Brass and say go. After attacking for 2. I don't think I'm scared of anything at 4 mana, so there's no reason to Fire Ice my opponent here. So if they don't miss a land drop on the following turn, then I'm going to go for to ice their land on upkeep. Portent is very nice, especially with the fetch land in hand. Let's see what we got. Ooh, that's heinous. So any order and shuffle those. I'm not gonna play out the land though, because of Verdict and also because of Armageddon. So we get a nice little attack there. Counterspell would be a nice pickup. Stifle. Okay, it's not great. Good thing is we do have Dreadnought covered now. So if we do find the Dreadnought, we have a layer of protection, which is nice. Here, my opponent can actually just play they can just play an Angel. Oh, interesting. So I guess I just stifle the trigger? I can stifle the trigger and then tap their land on upkeep because I really want to draw a card. So ice their dual land. I guess I could have played the land. Again, I'm trying to draw into Armageddon here. Yeah, I do get punished here because I could hold up Counterspell this turn, but now I can't. Let's see if my opponent plays around another Fire and Ice. Looks like they don't. Gush is a nice pickup. So let's lead on Gush first. I guess that this would make me discard if I don't find anything to cast, but... Oh, it doesn't actually, never mind. Ooh, that's cool. Yeah, okay, that's a good draw. If I play a Psychotog, I would be playing into Wrath of God. It's fairly unlikely my opponent has kept in Wrath of God though, so I think I can go for this. And then I guess I don't attack here. No, I can attack, because if my opponent does indeed have the Wrath of God, then... No, I don't attack, never mind. So we're just going to hang out, and I guess I'm going to tap again on upkeep and send the turn. Drawing a land there is not great, but we do have some stuff going on. Opponent does have Vindicate for the Mage, and then it looks like they also have Source of Plowshares for the Tog. Do I want to gain some life? No, I don't think so. I could just draw another Psychotog, and I want to make sure that all my graveyard is nice and stacked. Armageddon would be a nice pickup. Another Flooded Strand is not. So let's send the turn back. At least we do have Counterspell mana. They have a bunch of mana, not that many cards in hand, but let's play a Mox, pitch Flooded Strand, and send the turn back. If they disenchant this, I'm pretty happy about that. It's gonna be Skeletal Scrying. It's a fine use for a counterspell. They should have definitely main phased that Skeletal Scrying. If we win, it's because my opponent did not main phase that Skeletal Scrying when they could, because I was tapped out last turn. They had a chance to cleanly get rid of that. Okay, so we are going to say YOLO here. If my opponent has 2 answers in hand, we're going to die, but I don't think that it's really getting better the longer the game goes. So we're just going to slam that Dreadnought right there. That's a decree. It's not going to stop the Dreadnought from killing them, but it is definitely like something nice to do with their mana. This is still a 2-turn clock, 1-turn clock if I find Fling. We do have Vision Charm protection, which is nice. Land for Dust Bowl. Eternal Dragon. Okay, still not enough to stop this from being a 2-turn clock, so that's good. And also not enough to trade with the Dreadnought. One more protection spell would be awesome. Psychotog. Interesting. Opponent with the Source to Plowshares, we're just going to face out our boy. That's their last card in hand. Do I want to play out the Tog, is the question. I think I do. And there's no need for me to play out the land. My opponent could have Gerard's Verdict, but I can just discard both lands to the Psychotog, so it's fine. But if my opponent does indeed have another Source to Plowshares, I want to make sure that I at least have a threat. Counterspell would be great. Island, not so great. Swing with the guys. We get only a single chump block. Oh, they're throwing some soldiers in there. Oh, maybe their card drawn was Wrath of God. If they drew a Wrath, they should probably chump with the Eternal Dragon as well, because next turn they have enough mana to both Wrath and get back Dragon anyway. Pass the turn again. This deck really feels short on cantrips. I want to blow up my City of Brass. You got me. Their mana is much more important than mine, though. Let's see if they have it. Vindicate? Yeah, Vindicate the Dreadnought. At least the fact that that Dreadnought connected once makes this Psychotog lethal, so it means my opponent cannot actually get away with it. It's gonna force me to exile a bunch of things, which is annoying, but they cannot block for free. Gonna exile some cards. I guess I want to play around Haunting Echoes, so I'm gonna exile cards that are relevant to Haunting Echoes, like these Gushes. Dragon down. They should probably not get back the dragon. They don't know that my hand is just a bunch of blanks, so they want to potentially play around Daze. And if they top deck Vindicate, then I can just Daze the Vindicate. Oh, never mind. No, they have 1 more mana. So I guess if they have Wrath of God in their deck, they shouldn't get back the dragon, but if they don't, then it's correct to get back the dragon. Oh, I guess it's actually not correct, because they could top deck Decree. Geddon, one time. Another mod. Dude. Man, this deck is just not delivering, huh? Okay, we're gonna continue discarding some cards, just making sure that we have lethal. That is 5, that is 6. Do you have the removal spell? Do you don't? Okay, great. Moving on to the next game. Let's see if we can draw a little bit better here. Man, that was rough. We got there by just the bare minimum, but maybe I'm supposed to bring in this foil. Man, it's so sketchy. We have so many disjointed cards. Like, all of these cards just don't do anything without the other half. And that's not where you want to be against the all good stuff deck. 13 cards that are situational and are entirely context dependent. Yuck. We're gonna submit the same, because I don't think that the cards in my sideboard are better than the cards in my main deck, but still makes me sad. Maybe I can cut a land. Yeah, let's cut a City of Brass for a Meddling Mage on the draw. I guess I already cut a Mox Diamond. Yeah, never mind. Never mind. Oh, okay, I was not fast enough to undo it. Hey, look at that. We're gonna keep this one. We got a lot of the pieces that we're looking for. Not a bad one. Let's Portent. Yeah, these look good. So let's go counter Mage Opt, no shuffle. So we're gonna draw the Meddling Mage and the Opt first, and then we can choose whether we wanna hold on to or get rid of the counterspell. Verdict. Let's bin the Fling and I guess a counterspell. I think I want a Mage naming Swords. If my opponent has Vindicate, they use it on the Meddling Mage. That's, I guess, fine. That Verdict was pretty good though. So we're gonna ship the turn back. We're gonna see if my opponent does anything. We're gonna go opting otherwise. So, looking for lands here. Yeah, island is fine. And now that we have this many lands, I was about to say that what I'm looking for is a Gush. That is exactly what I was about to say. Imagine we want to see a cycle here. Yeah. Next turn we're going to be able to combo with, I guess, 2 layers of protection. Another Gush is not heinous. Play the land. And yeah, I think I'm going for Dreadnought with Vision Charm. We can protect with counterspell. Oh, that resolved. Nice. We have Portent to do stuff. So that's neat. Crying for 3. I don't think I can afford to let that resolve. Like, raw cards matter a lot here. Duress. It's gonna take my Gush. Sorcery Speed removal is no good. If they take my Gush, I can potentially try to combo again with Dreadnought if I find another one. I could also just stop the Psychotog with Vigor. Oh, what? Interesting. Are they gonna Vindicate my land? They should definitely not Vindicate my land. Just 2 cards left in hand. One of them is a Swords to Plowshare, so I'm going to opt here. We may find a Vision Charm, that would be awesome. It's a Mox Diamond, and we gain 12. Immediately top deck the Fling. So we have 2 unknown for my opponent. Honestly, the card that I would want to draw the most would be Armageddon here. Hey, look at that. So let's Gush to see if there are any better things to do. Looks like there aren't. So, yep. No more lands for anybody. Their last card could be Decree, and that would kind of suck because they were going to put 4 1/1s into play. But if it's not, then we're kind of in good shape. Like, even Skeleton, okay, the last card is Decree indeed. So yeah, I was 1 mana short from stifling the Decree trigger. So now we're going to be in a clock. So we do need to, like, we're not out of the woods. Like, my opponent can just, we have 6 turns to find another Dreadnought. We're not just out of the woods. The nice thing is that a Meddling Mage is also a great draw under these circumstances. Hey, look at that. That's the card I was hoping for. Black. So I guess my opponent could have Smother, Diabolic Edict, or something like that, but I don't think I can realistically play around it. Never mind, I can realistically play around it. Okay, so we're gonna take 1 more turn so I can play around a black removal spell. Duress, well, I guess that undoes the thing. They should take Division Charm here. I'm still missing a red source for the Fling, so there's no reason for taking anything that isn't the charm. They took the Fling. That's most definitely a mistake. I guess that's a nice draw. So let's go for Meddling Mage naming Swords to Plowshares. And this naturally stops the Soldier Onslaught. So now we are in super clean territory. I guess I can also play around Vindicate. That sounds nice. Although I guess I already had Vindicate covered with the Vision Charm. Maybe I got a little bit carried away there. Maybe I was just supposed to combo. They have nothing though, they just passed the turn. There comes the Dreadnought. Stifle the trigger. We still have Vision Charm. And now we are cooking. I don't think my opponent has outs from here. I would be very surprised if they have anything. Scrying for 1. Resolves. It's a white source. Here's an attack for 12. And even if they have Wrath of God, I just Vision Charm my Dreadnought and I just kill them next turn, so... Tormod's Crypt. Yeah, this is... You should never bring in Tormod's Crypt against a Psycho-Dog deck. This is just, I think, my opponent misevaluating the matchup a little bit. But I have seen this happen, and yeah, Tormod's Crypt is just not worth a card. For Action Furnace, yes, go nuts, but Tormod's Crypt is just not worth having in your deck. Like, whatever card you took out, it doesn't matter what card it is, whatever card you took out to make room for this Tormod's Crypt is worse. It is much, much better than this Tormod's Crypt. Okay, so we're gonna face out the Dreadnought, and then I'm going to upkeep, tap their white source. Nice, the white source, and there you go. I guess they could have exactly land Disenchant. If they have exactly land Disenchant, then they can get rid of the Dreadnought and we play on, but... Well, I guess now they could have exactly Smother, because Diabolic doesn't do anything because I have 2 creatures to sack. So Smother would be kind of annoying. Okay, here we actually get to swing with everybody, because we have the Fire Ice to cover a multi-block. They can put all of the soldiers in front of the Swords to Plowshares Mage, but then we kill these things here. There you go, Meddling Mage, an absolute beast of a card. Round number 3, unfortunately the audio in my previous match got messed up, so it's something that happens sometimes. This hand looks fine, let's keep it. We really need to find a land. Once we do, we have a lot of stuff going on. Let's go Island Go, and we'll take it from there. Basic Plane. Discover Paradise will do. Okay, City of Brass. I'm just gonna name Swords to Plowshares against Basic Island. I don't know what my opponent is on, but whatever they're on, they probably have Swords to Plowshares. I don't think there's any deck in the format that can really afford to play Basic Island and not play Swords. Second Basic Island. Seal of Cleansing. Not gonna do much here. That's hot. So we just get to fling our opponent in the face of a Seal of Cleansing. You love to see it. I am gonna play Psycho-Talk here though. And then we get to go for lethal next turn if my opponent doesn't block. Core Haven. That's a card. Okay, so this is the mono white. This is the mono white deck. So this is now lethal. Opponent has no removal. We get to swing, pitch, counter spells, down to 12, play a Dreadnought, fling it to our opponent's face. Nice Seal of Cleansing you got there, opponent. 12, yeah, boom! Okay, so this matchup seems not easy. We're going to bring in some Mageddons. I think we want the Psycho-Tog. Love me some Fire Ices, love me some counter spells. What else? There's an argument for having Engineered Plague for the thing. What's his name? The Decree. I definitely don't want Swords to Plowshares. We're gonna cut a Mox. Enabling a Dreadnought seems very difficult, but I do love Fling, so I think we're gonna go with something like this. And there's actually a non-zero chance that we fling a Psycho-Tog to our opponent's face. This is very much a draw as many gushes as you want matchup, but with no islands, probably can't afford to keep that one. Ugh, man, this would have been a fantastic keep with the basic island, but we're gonna keep this one. Bottom counterspell, bottom a land. Definitely want the second land, but I'd rather have the other two. And we're gonna have a free turn anyway. Of course, we're not super excited about a multi-5, but port. So I guess that means we're gonna play a Discover Paradise instead of City of Brass. Sure, let's actually keep Portent on top, because we're gonna be most likely casting it this turn. That also means I guess I'm going to be playing City of Brass here. Or I can just draw that. Perfect. Mox Diamond, pitch City, play land, play Mage, name Swords to Plowshares. My opponent can play a Exalted Angel, that would suck, but it is what it is. Mishra's Factory. Oh man. Yeah, this is something that happens often, which is bringing in Tormod's Crypt against a Psycho-Dog deck or a Terrorwar deck is just not a good deal. It's just not something that you should do. It's just not worth the card. For Action Furnace, great, because you can cycle it anytime. But Tormod's Crypt is just not the same as Furnace. Dust Bowl, big yuck. Mind Stone is fine. It's not enough to throw away a land there. Island is, I guess, not the worst draw. Double Gush, yes, thank you. No shuffle, play another island. Can't attack in the face of the factory, so we're just gonna pass the turn. Not super loving the Dreadnought on top of my deck, but it is what it is. Opponent cycle the Dragon. They can't start Dust Bowling now. if they so desire. Fear of resistance. I guess I do need to counter this. No follow-up, so that's good for me. Gush number 2. We know there's a Dreadnought on top of the deck, which we're not super stoked about, but it's okay. So now they can Dust Bowl the Paradise, which is annoying, but it's... Oh, they tap, they port instead. Porting a Plains is also strange there. We're going to, I guess, just Gush here, and then replay a land. It's a Fling. It's not quite enough yet, so we're just going to send it back again. Now they can Dust Bowl plus port. Cycle Decree. Alright. Meddling Mage is conveniently enough a 2/2, so we are keeping these soldiers in check, funnily enough. Would love to have access to some form of counter magic here. Ooh, opponent's getting frisky. Attack for 2, I'll take it. Notably tapping the Dust Bowl there, which is kind of weird. Port the island, makes sense. So we can, I guess, attack with the mage, and then after my opponent blocks, I can Fire Ice 2 of these guys. It's notably not a great exchange, because Fire Ice is actually a pretty good card here. And this also does not really guarantee that I'm going to be connecting with this Meddling Mage anyway. Eternal Dragon, cast. Now that's pressure. Second Mage. Let's lead on Gush and see what we can do. Vision Charm. Alright, so we already have Swords to Plowshares covered. We already have Swords covered. We have, I guess I named Disenchant. We are going to execute the combo here with Vision Charm. This means that Sorcery Speed answers don't really do anything. That means this second Meddling Mage will want to name Disenchant, I think. They could have, of course, Seal of Cleansing. I don't know if they play more Disenchant or Seal of Cleansing, unfortunately. I guess they can Wrath plus Swords to Plowshares, but if they do, then that's going to kill their dragon. Just going to make things a little bit awkward for them. Tap my blue source. Okay, so I guess it's a Swords to Plowshares. It's a Wrath of God here. It is indeed a Wrath. Dreadnought still hanging out. I am going to get to fling it to their face, but unclear how good that's going to be. Would love to draw a Psychotog. Another Mage. Guess now we name Eternal Dragon. Nah, we still name Swords to Plowshares. Because our draw here is going to be Psychotog. So since our draw is Psychotog, I want to make sure that Psychotog is live as a top deck. But yeah, even though I gushed twice, we're still seeing the consequences of the Mull to 5. Mox Diamond. Cycle Decree here would be pretty bad for me. And I think that's what's coming up. Yep. We have no real answer to this in the deck because I decided not to bring Engineered Plague. Maybe I should have Engineered Plague. The problem is, like, I have to choose whether I want to play around, Oh, well, now we're dead. Cool. I've seen enough. Let's move on to the next game. So I did not bring in Disenchant, did not bring in Plague. Do I want to, is the question. Maybe I should have named Wrath with the second Mage. I'll definitely name Wrath next time. Let's cut the foil for a Plague, I guess, and go with that. Disenchant is interesting in the face of the Scroll, because Scroll just owns my Meddling Mage game plan. Keep this turn 1 Mage, turn 2 Dreadnought. Mage naming Swords to Plowshares. Would love to draw a Counterspell. Counterspell is my best draw, but I'm definitely going for it here because I don't think it's getting better for me. So we're just going to YOLO here. Show me the Disenchant, Casey. This makes it so Curse Scroll is not going to be online to deal with the Mage. Seal of Cleansing. Okay, yeah, that's enough. So I don't think I'm going to win this game. I do think that is most definitely correct for me to do, to try to make sure that I can put as much pressure as possible and to force my opponent to have it. Because the longer the game goes, the worse it gets for me. Technically, I guess I could draw Armageddon now. Armageddon would be quite nice on this board. It can also make my opponent's Curse Scroll much worse. They are hitting land drops. There's a Plains. Humility. Guess I definitely should have Disenchant in my deck. Now we know. Another Meddling Mage. Guess we're gonna name Wrath of God with this one. Armageddon, please come to me. Please come to me. Armageddon, we have 2 of them. We have 2 Armageddons. Can we find them in time? Okay, that's actually not terrible, because that means that if my opponent's cycling Decree here, we don't really care. Oh, they're gonna roll the dice. Ha, there's a Wrath of God and they whiff. If the best thing they can do is roll the dice, that's good for me. The problem is that they targeted the one naming Swords to Plowshares, so that means that they also have Swords to Plowshares. Yeah, that sucks. So this one's naming Wrath, so my opponent's gonna get like a 50-50 chance of hitting Armageddon one time. No. Swing for 2, 50-50 Curse Scroll. Damn it. Yeah, now we are in pretty good shape, in pretty bad shape. We kind of need a gush immediately. Get back dragon. Yeah, I'm just gonna ice a land. We're looking for Armageddon here. Another ice is not great. Portent. Meddling Mage Geddon. Okay. We want, I guess, all 3 of those cards. No shuffle. I'm going to play a second Mox, pitching the City of Brass, and I'm going to ice my opponent's land. And if they whiff on their land drop, that means I get to cast the Geddon and not be facing a big dragon. But if they do have the land drop, then I'm going to be in trouble. Oh, they cycle the dragon. Okay, that's good. Oh, they cycle and get back dragon. That's really sexy. They play out the planes. And now we Geddon. Play these planes and ship the turn. Next turn we get to name Swords to Plowshares with Meddling Mage. And we get to hope, I guess. Portent myself. There's a talk. Okay, perfect. So we're going to go with yes. We're going to go top, top, and top. No shuffle. Play Mage. Name Swords to Plowshares. That was an insane Armageddon. Absolutely insane Armageddon. I don't think my opponent saw it coming because they played out the land when they didn't need to. Swing for 2. Blue and black. Send the turn back. And we got there. Wow, what a crazy, crazy match. Wow, that was wild. All right, time for round number 4. I think we're going to keep this hand. Looks pretty decent. Let's actually go for opt, because if I find a land, I'm probably going to play out this Mox Diamond. Okay, cool. So now we get to also Portent in the same turn. Pretty insane, if you ask me. Look at this value. There's a Dreadnought and a land. I think I like this, so we're going to go top the island, then the Dreadnought, then the land, and no shuffle. And then we're going to draw the fetch land. Draw the fetch. We're hiding the Dreadnought on top of the deck. Basic island into black vice. Okay, so we're going to play our land and we're going to name Chain of Vapor. Play our fetch land, blue-white, play Meddling Mage, name Chain of Vapor. Chain of Vapor. Send the turn back. We definitely want to shuffle, and we're probably going to counter by my opponent's end step. This is so far looking good. Second island and opt. Definitely going to bottom that land and draw something even worse. Another Meddling Mage is pretty fantastic, not gonna lie. So let's serve with this one and let's play another one. Notably, he has a plane, so he doesn't have counterspell mana. He could have mana leak. He just packs it in. All right, cool, successful. Yeah, so we like Ray of Revelation, we like Disenchant, and we like Red Elemental Blast against Stasis. All of these look great. We can bring in Nought-a-Tog. I think I'm just going to straight up cut the Dreadnought angle. I guess we don't have enough, huh? Because we have all of these dead Stifles and Vision Charms, so yeah, we actually don't have enough room to cut the... We don't have enough cards to bring in to cut the entire Dreadnought angle. So I guess I'm gonna leave in Vision Charms and 2 Dreadnoughts. Let's do Stifle. Maybe Fling is better than Stifle. Yeah, I actually like Fling much better. So let's leave 2 Flings, 3 Vision Charms, and 2 Dreadnoughts. And then everything else is going to be just Disenchants, Rays, some Fire Ices. Yeah, this looks fine. Unfortunately for me, Stasis is not a particularly great Armageddon matchup. We'll keep 7, and I guess this is a mulligan to 6, but it's a fine mulligan to 6, so I'll take it. Because of these, it's a mulligan to 6. Like, I don't love Vision Charmer and the Dreadnought. Flooded Strand Fetch, are they gonna go for turn 1 Black Vice again? No, just playing our own Stifle. Alright, that's pretty good. Clean play by Will there to fetch while I have no lands. Doesn't really matter, but they don't know that, right? It's free to play around Stifle. He knows that he's not going to be facing a Rishadan Port or something like that. Okay, so fetch. Counterspell I'll take. We'll definitely want to see more lands. If he doesn't do anything, I'm probably going to ice one of his lands just to cantrip. So I am pretty actively looking for lands. Impulse on my end step. Not going to counter that. We'll have to get another island here, which is a little bit awkward because I kind of want to have access to a plains in case I find a Meddling Mage. Okay, that's pretty good. We found the City of Brass. Play a land. Say go. Hold up counterspell. We can once again ice something on his end step if we need to. So let's ice a land. Disenchant is a fine pickup. So I can go up to 8 cards, then 4 more up to 12. replay a land down to 11, then Dreadnought Charm down to 9. So we're still going to discard. So I'm going to just go for Opt instead and try to fight a land drop this way. Portent I can't keep, unfortunately. I could go for Vision Charm right here. Vision Charm Nought. Yeah, okay. Let's float my mana first. And would love to find something better to do, but we're pretty likely to do some pretty serious discarding here. Okay, that's fantastic. So now we play the Mox, pitch Island, and now we go for Dreadnought Charm. Maybe he annuls this. That seems acceptable. We're going to face out the Dreadnought. I'm gonna use Mox Diamond just so I don't get blown out by Chain of Vapor. There is a risk here. I guess I forgot about this. So I guess Stifle is better than Vision Charm. So the risk here is that because of how Stasis works, my opponent lands a Stasis and this Dreadnought is phased out. It's not going to come back because the wording on Stasis is that you skip your untap step, if I'm not mistaken, and in the untap step is when the phasing out happens. So yeah, it's kind of interesting, right? But yeah, I'm gonna risk it, go for it here. Seems like an okay spot to do so. Will did miss a land drop, notably. We have Counterspell, we have some disenchant action as well. Definitely would love to have access to something like a Pyroblast. He boomerangs in response. Well, I'm going to Vision Charm again. And hopefully he doesn't have a Stasis, because if he does, I am going to be pretty screwed. Oof. Yeah, I think I'm gonna die here. Like, I'm gonna pay for this daze, because there's the possibility that he may just have double daze, in which case that's fine. Double daze also means that, yeah, okay. So good thing that I paid then. So that's still a 2-for-1, because he used the boomerang to put the Dreadnought back in my hand, and he used 2 dazes. So he cannot play Stasis here off of Basic Island. He could have done it off of the Forgotten whatever, the non-basic land that deck plays. Can't remember the name. Rev is fine here. Would love to find some lands. Hey, like that one. So we're gonna be playing some Drogo here for a little bit. There's an argument for using the Red Elemental Blast right there or a Counterspell. I guess I maybe should have used the Counterspell there, actually. Just so to use my mana, to not allow him to get whatever he's looking for. And to also use the cards in my hand as well. These flings are not looking great. Yeah, maybe I should have countered the Impulse, honestly. We're hitting land drops though, which is kind of what we really want. So is he. Cantrip would be great as well. Mox Diamond is not great though. I think that's what I'm gonna pitch. No cards played. Play a land. Ship the turn back again. And he misses a land drop. Okay, so we're kind of parity here. We're kind of even on cards, and that's a really good pickup. So we're probably gonna choose to go for a counter war here, which can not work out for me. Here's an island, and counter the counter. That resolved. He already used 2 dazes, so I kind of want to use a counter spell here. But I guess I'm going to use the Red Elemental Blast. The reason to use Red Elemental Blast here is so that I have blue available. So this plays not only through days, but it also makes me top decking a land much better, because now I have disenchant mana. This one is gonna name Stasis, I think, because of the current state of affairs. Thwart. Okay, that's gonna resolve. So his land is Triple Island, and hopefully not a Stasis. Well, there's the Stasis. But again, we are not out of it just yet because of that. So I think what we do is we disenchant on his upkeep with the Forsaken City trigger on the stack. So this means he can't thwart. I guess I should have waited for him to pay for the Stasis, because that would have been the same. So just wait for him to pay for Stasis, then do this. So that was a mistake on my part, because now he can just land a second Stasis. Yeah, that was just a bad play on my part. Oh, he has daze. Okay, so never mind. It would not have mattered. He has daze number 3. And I think I lose to that. It's gonna take a long time, but I'm not gonna be able to come back from this. Okay, never mind. That is exactly the only way that I can get back in this game. So play a land, say go. We've really gotta find another something here. We really need to find maybe Rate Revelation or something like that. He did find the Black Vice, so the clock is on. Down to 4 cards. So way to discard the card, so I guess I'll take it. Okay, he brought in Brain Freeze. That's good to know. Fire Ice in here doesn't do anything, so no reason to. Another Mox, but without a land doesn't do that much. Forsaken City was pitched. So I guess what we need to do is find another Gush. Tog. I'm not gonna show him Fling. Just gonna discard the portents there. He's building cards in hand. Let's see if I can find... Ugh, that doesn't actually do it. So we're gonna pitch another Mox. And tapping his land doesn't achieve anything, unfortunately. So we're just going to see what we draw. See if we find... Okay, we did not draw what we were hoping for. So I'm just gonna concede. The hope was to draw Ray of Revelation there. I don't think I want to change anything. Oh yeah, we said Vision Charm. Vision Charm, bring in Stifle. And let's submit. We are on the draw. This hand seems okay. It's not fantastic, but it has some of the stuff that I want, especially lands. Oh, don't want a Mox. I guess I'd rather have a Mox than this, but it is what it is. Okay, we're a little bit land heavy over here. Not going to counter this impulse. Another reason for Stifle over Vision Charm is now that we know that my opponent's on the Brain Freeze plan, it actually does something against Brain Freeze. So that's pretty neat. Okay, Pyroblast is nice. So Lackvice. Going to use a counterspell here. If he wants to fight over this, that's fine, but I actually did not care about protecting that, I don't think. Another island, say go. Yeah, I don't think I care about opening myself up to getting Chain of Vapor. I think I'll Stifle that land. Once again, I'm just trying to use the cards in my hand. Maybe that's a little bit aggressive. Would love to see some gush action, let me tell you that much. Shoot me them gushes. Yeah, maybe it was a little bit too aggressive. That's a card. Here's a Mox, and I guess I just pass. No, I'm gonna play the Tog actually, but I don't think I'm gonna fight over it. He impulses in response. It's not looking great. He's got a ton of cards in hand. It's pretty unlikely we're able to win a counter war. Let me just bounce this, or Source of Plowshares, but he went for another island. Something we can do is to just not attack with the Tog until we can present lethal. Okay, now that I see the Fling, I'm just gonna do that. I'm not going to attack until I can make it 9 power. If Will wants to Chain of Vapor the Tog, that's fine. 3 is gonna mana short me. Oh, Hardcast Gush. Yeah, Chain of Vapor. Okay, just gonna cycle these ice, see what I can find. Opt. Cool. Bottom that one. Disenchant is nice. Another island. Play that and play Tog. So now we're in Gush territory. We just want some Gush. I think I just let the Tog resolve, the counterspell resolve there, counter the Tog. I don't care about Tog as much. Definitely very awkward that I had to pitch the planes to this Mox Diamond, so like this Flooded Strand does not get me white, so I cannot Disenchant and Pyroblast, so that's a little bit awkward. I'm not gonna play out this land. I can pitch it to a future Mox Diamond down the line. There's the mana short. Yep, I thought that was gonna happen eventually. Clone a target spell if it's blue. Hope this resolves, but yeah, like we're in pretty bad shape. Like this is pretty likely to resolve, and if it does, we are in infinite trouble. And now he gets to resolve a Stasis. This matchup seems not great for us, to be fair. We have very few ways of actually putting on the pressure. I'm gonna hold on to these lands because of the potential of another mana short. Also, it builds cards in hand, which is something for him to play around. Okay, that's pretty great. Let's play a Flooded Strand and say go. I'm probably gonna just hardcast this Gush on Will's end step, unless he's going to discard. Gaia's Blessing. Huh, okay. I guess that's a card that he can play. There's the Stasis. We're going to untap. It's going to be lots of tapping and untapping here. Play another land, send the turn back. Just lets the Stasis die. Very interesting. Okay, so now we are free to opt. Bottom the land and untap. I think this Flooded Strand is just dead now. I don't have any more islands in my deck. Getting pretty unlucky with these draws, unfortunately. I know that I'm throwing away value here because of Portent, but I think it's better to do that. If he's going to discard, he should be untapping the Forsaken City. I don't know why he isn't doing that. Black Vice. Sure. Take 3. Mox. Pitch Strand. Play land. Say go. Pitching those daisies. So now that he isn't going to discard, I'm going to try to pick a fight here to use some cards in hand. Interesting. Okay, so I'm just gonna hardcast a Gush here. Yeah, this is... I don't think I can win this game anymore. We are too far behind, and yeah, we just have nothing going on. It really sucks. Okay, guess we're naming Chain of Vapor. I could just name Brain Freeze. Counter the counter. I don't think I can afford to go for the Dreadnought this turn because of Brain Freeze. I guess we're gonna go for it next turn. Seems quite bad for us, but it is what we have to do here. Take 1. Play land, play Dreadnought, annul, brutal. Yeah, we can see the clunkiness, right? The clunkiness of our draw versus Will's and complete, just straight focus deck. Another Dreadnought, yeah, those are fine. I actually like all of these, so we're not gonna shuffle. Gosh, Dreadnought and Portent on top of the deck. This is my last Dreadnought, by the way. We're gonna stifle there. This leaves us dead to Brain Freeze, by the way, but Chain of Vapor. Okay. Feel like I can't play around Brain Freeze, so I'm just gonna go Portent here, and I'm just going to assume death to Brain Freeze. These are nice though, so no shuffle, pass the turn back. So here we get to ice some lands, draw some cards, and then play a Meddling Mage, I guess, and the Tog. If this Tog resolves, maybe I should have led on Meddling Mage actually, because if this Tog resolves, we actually have the possibility of potentially killing Will from here, which is neat. He gushes. First gush on the game for him. Another gush. Okay, so he's going for the Brain Freeze this turn, which I assume means that this Psychic Dog is gonna die. It's gonna get countered, I mean. Ooh, resolves? Okay, Meddling Mage. I guess Meddling Mage is gonna name Thwart. Chain of Vapor. Okay. I can recast the Tog this turn. This is the last turn of the game. But I don't think I have shown him Fling just yet. So he's gonna Brain Freeze me, but I can Fling the Tog to his face. Yeah? This is pretty exciting. This is quite exciting, actually. He does have blue mana, so it's pretty likely he left blue open. So I'm pretty sure he just has another counterspell, which obviously sucks, but it's pretty exciting nonetheless, right? So I'm just gonna pump this Tog. Oh, wow. He asked me if I had Fling in hand, and I'm like, yeah, I got it. He said he just didn't have any counterspells. That's awesome. Wow, that was crazy. Crazy much. I can't believe we got there. Awesome. Cool. I still can't believe that match against Will. That was incredible. Keep this hand, I guess. It's a little bit awkward because I can't really name anything with Meddling Mage. So I guess what I'll do is I will just play Flooded Strand, play Mox Diamond, and play Undiscovered Paradise. Because if I'm playing against Goblins specifically, then I would want to Fire Ice a Lackey so I can untap and play a Mage. If I am playing against Goblins, we are not in good shape though. Just literally called it. Okay, let's opt here. Counterspell. Let's put that on top actually. So I think I'm going to play Mage here, and I'm going to name Pile Driver. I guess I could just pass the turn. I definitely don't want to use the Fire Ice to tap the mountain, but I can just pass the turn and just hold up Counterspell. Because we may be playing, yeah, let's do that actually. We may be playing against Burn instead of Goblins. Okay, so it is Pile Driver. So I think we're going to Fire Ice here, and then we're going to untap and name War Chief. Man, I don't think I can afford to opt, but I really wish I could. Could also have named Matron, I guess. So my opponent gonna naturalize me here. No, there's the Matron. There's the Ringleader, so we can just Mage Ringleader. Swing. We're honestly not looking great here. My opponent can just play another Goblin and just cycle a Gem Palm, and then I'm gonna be in a lot of trouble. So we really want to find the Dreadnought quickly. If we do find another island, then we're gonna have access to Gush, Counterspell, we're gonna have a bunch of things, so that's nice. But as of right now, I'm not super stoked about my position. That's a Mog Fantastic and a Prospector. Okay, looks like no Gem Palm. We really need to start finding some lands here. That's really awkward. I think I'm gonna have to bottom that. Perfect. All right, now we're cooking. We're gonna pass a turn here, holding Counterspell for a Siege Gang. And I guess I would Stifle Cycle. Yeah, there's the Gem Palm Cycle. That's a pretty bad trade for us, but it's better than my opponent tapping and playing the Ringleader. I guess I could Counterspell the Ringleader, but now I'm open to my opponent having Siege Gang, which is very bad, of course. Also, now I'm down to Stifle, so if I draw a Dreadnought, I cannot actually put it into play. They have two unknowns. If neither of those unknowns is a Siege Gang, then I'm gonna be in good shape. They do have a Matron, however. So they can go get Gem Palm number 2 and cycle, probably right now. And then I guess they can sack their board to cast the Ringleader, but that's not a good deal. So I doubt that they're gonna do that. They should definitely get another Gem Palm here. It unlocks their hand. They should probably cycle it now. Yeah. So Meddling Mage down. Can opt on end step. Another opt. I guess I'm gonna bottom that. I don't think we have the time, unfortunately. So let's Gush. Hopefully find something good. Fire Ice is actually not heinous. The problem is if I Fire Ice, then I cannot hold up Counterspell for this Ringleader, and I think that's going to be quite important. So I'm just gonna pass the turn. My opponent should probably be attacking with the Matron, by the way. But yeah, this turn I'm basically forced Goblin King. Oh, that is fine. They already played the land drop this turn. So, okay, so they're actually going for the Ringleader right now. So let's counter that. Now, if my opponent wants to attack, I'll just take 6. And then we can untap and Fire Ice the Goblin King next turn. Pretty nice. Pass the turn back. Could have gushed there. A little bit of a misstep there for my opponent, by the way, to sack the Prospector. Obviously, they should have just sacked the Matron. Opponent down to 1 card in hand, which is another Matron, which is very sad for me. So they're just gonna get another War Chief, Ringleader, sorry. I could attempt to gush into a counter spell exactly, but I don't think that's gonna work out well for me. An opponent just casually draw 4. Yeah, this is getting out of hand very quickly. So when I block the Fanatic, Fire Ice, the Goblin King, but we're just falling behind a little bit too quickly. My opponent's down to 16. So if I'm thinking what if I draw a Dreadnought, if I could actually get there. So let's gush first. Not great. Portent. There's a Dreadnought. I guess I can attack. If my opponent takes it, I can Fire Ice, then fling a Dreadnought. That would be insane. Okay, yeah, we're doing that. So put the, I guess, Strand on top and draw Dreadnought, then fling. No shuffle. Play the Mox, Pitching Island, and let's swing. We're gonna take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're gonna take 5, and my opponent is going to be able to bring me down to 1. Oh no, they have Mog Fanatic. Oh, I forgot about the Mog Fanatic. There's the Siege Gang. Okay, so I guess what I have to do is I have to take the damage, I have to take 5, and I have to stifle the Siege Gang activation. So we go to 3, opponent plays the Mog Fanatic. We have to hope that they go for it now. And if they do, we're gonna have enough mana. Okay, looks like they are going for it. Dude, how insane is this? Stifle the 2 damage. Oh my god, I'm so excited. I am so freaking excited right now. Fire your face. Red and 1. Draw the Dreadnought. Fling, yeah. Oh my god, this was incredible. Yes. 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 Oh my god, that was incredible. Wow. Oh man. That was incredible. Okay, let's bring in Psych-Dog. Let's cut these mages. Let's probably bring in some plows, maybe over foil. I actually think we have a pretty decent setup here. We have our Dreadnought combo, we have some Hydroblast, Blue Elemental Blast effects, we still got the Flings, we got Tog, we got some Plagues as well. I'm not a big fan of Meddling Mage in this kind of matchup. Yeah, cool. For game number 2, we get an Olander, so let's send that one back. Yeah, this one I will keep. No answer to turn 1 Lackey, however. I guess I'm putting back the Fling. We can stifle a Lackey trigger, but that's obviously not what you want to be doing. Yeah, they have the Lackey this time around. Removal, please? Ugh. That's removal for a turn 2 Lackey. Well, I guess I can just play an island and I can just stifle the Lackey trigger and then Fire Ice. But this is obviously not a great play. It's just a necessary play. And I'm only really making this play because I actually do have an answer for a turn 2 Lackey. But this is not a good deal, really. Oh, a Pyroblast. Well, that sucks. Not great. Engineered Plague, 1 time. So we're gonna fire right now, because otherwise I'm just giving my opponent free fodder. We're not out of the woods quite yet. We can just top deck. We have what? Probably 1 or 2 turns to find an Engineered Plague. And we may be back in this. I'm gonna be taking 5 down to 13. No land is also good for us. So let's Portent first. Or just no Engineer Plague there. So we're just gonna put them back in any order and shuffle. Yeah, let's play a land. Send the turn back. Let's see what we find of Ponder. That's a Swords to Plowshares. Okay, okay. Maybe there's some hope here. Also no War Chief. So I'm gonna opt right now. Because if I see an Engineer Plague, then yeah, we're gonna bottom that. No Engineer Plague, but I'm just gonna plow this Siege Gang here. Takes the gas off the pedal a little bit. My opponent's gonna get a free shock here, so I'm gonna go down to 7. And then I can Fire Ice. realistically, we really need to find an Engineered Plague. At least this is the best that my opponent could do with their turn. So maybe we can do something here. Plague one time, Mox Diamond. Not quite. I actually think that the only way I can win this game from here is specifically by finding Engineered Plague. So, oh, my bad. I made a mistake there. I wanted to like upkeep, tap their land. Okay, it looks like they have nothing, but I'm still going to just take the damage here, and I'm going to, I guess, just cycle this Fire Ice. Maybe I should have just tapped the creature before combat. There's a Portent and a Gush. Yeah, that's not good enough. Back it in. Okay, let's go to game 3. We're gonna get to be on the play here. Think we just keep everything the same. Do we want foil? Not really. It's not better than any of my cards, I don't think. On the play for game 3. No cantrips, only one land. Send that back. This hand's pretty nice though. Keep this, bottom the Fling, and I really wish I had lands that are not basic island. This seems fine, so let's go. Let's draw one of these lands, and then I should be good. And I already have a Dreadnought. I bottom the Fling, which is not great, but Mog Fanatic. Play land, pass the turn. Taking one. We need some good mana here. Land into Pile Driver. Okay, so this is actually a pretty important clock. So let's opt to gather some extra information. City of Brass. I mean, we do need this. I'd rather have a Mox though, so I guess I'm gonna bottom that. Okay, so let's just counter target red spell. So that's gonna buy us a little bit of time. My opponent has access to green mana, so we actually need to worry about what's his name. And now that I drew the Fire Ice, I'm going to opt main phase because I can find the Mox. And I guess I'm still going to hold on to this Plains in case I do find the Mox. And I really dislike this like Nought-a-Tog concept. I'm not a fan. The whole Nought-a-Tog thing of hoping that Mox Diamond makes all of your troubles go away. I'm a big fan of healthy mana bases. This makes me very sad. Because now I have to play out the Plains so I don't get ported away. Yep, they port my blue. Fanatic keeps getting in there, huh? So here on end step, I can, I guess, tap a port. Ice one of these Rishadan ports. Look at how much better port is than Wasteland. Another island, not great. So now we really want to find Gush. At least these ports are not dealing me damage, right? With the City of Brass. Matron. I have to let that resolve, and I hope that I find the black source for the Plague. Got Ringleader, and tap my Plains. Please give me a black source. Gush, I guess I'll take. Gush, okay, I guess I'll take that one. Engineered Plague. And I'm playing the Plague first. My opponent can now start tapping my City of Brass, and I don't have Psychotog mana. But Plague is super important, and if my opponent casts this Ringleader, they get to resolve the Ringleader, but then they cannot tap my, at least with the information that we have, they cannot tap my City of Brass. Of course, they can just, you know, find another land, which is what they did, but naturalize for the Plague. Okay, and they go for the Ringleader right now. Woof. This Ringleader's drawing 4, man. This is rough. Okay, we're gonna resolve Psychotog right now. And I guess we're gonna Hydroblast the War Chief. Man, these draw 4s are devastating. How can I get out of this? War Chief first. I let that resolve. If they tap my land, I guess that's where I go for the Hydroblast. But my idea is to attempt to plow this War Chief and save the Stifle for, save the Hydroblast, sorry, for like a Matron or something. I guess they could also find the Goblin that destroys artifacts, forgot the name. Opponent finally decides to go for Matron, which is what I'm going to counter. So another hand is Prospector, Lackey, and 3 unknowns. All of this while this City of Brass is clocking me thanks to the Rishadan ports. Okay, so let's opt into Vision Charm. Okay, that's great. So now we can go Dreadnought, Stifle. We're gonna hold up the defenses because my goal is to bait the Naturalize. Alternatively, I could have plowed the War Chief. I hold up white to plow the War Chief, but then I'm dead to a Naturalize. There is the possibility that I'm just dead to the War Chief too, though, so that's a little bit problematic. This deck is not particularly good at protecting a Resolved Dreadnought, especially after I cut the counterspells and foils, so one just keeps hitting land drops. Maybe I should have attacked with Tog last turn, actually, now that I think about it. No, but then if they have Pile Driver, I lose. If they have Pile Driver plus Answer to Dreadnought, I just lose. What an intense game. If they have Ringleader, I assume I'm going to die. Or Siege Gang. Both of those I probably cannot beat. Not with Prospector, at least. The opponent does have the Siege Gang. That sucks. There's a Lackey, Fanatic. It's a lot of damage. So Siege Gang can't attack because I can just block it. So my opponent needs to really be careful these attacks. They just send everybody. And you need to leave some dudes back to block. This is gonna be some very tricky combat math here. Okay, so Lackey and the Siege Gang get blocked. If I block like this, I take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 from the Fanatic, 9, 10 from the Siege Gang, and then I can top deck a removal spell to win on the crackback. So I think this is my best. My opponent can sack the Siege Gang or something like that, but that taps them out. I think they should have played the Prospector pre-combat. I think they made a mistake here. Play the Prospector. So now I can just top deck either Plague, or I can top deck Plague, or I can top deck another Swords to Plowshares, and I win the game. I guess they can sack one Goblin on my upkeep to tap CD Brass. Ringleader. Woof. It's an extra blocker, and okay, at least this one whiffed, but puts me in a tough spot. So Engineer Plague, Mox time. Right on time. So new game plan. I have 2 Swords to Plowshares, my own Psycho-Tog. So because of that, that means the Tog is not blocking, so I'm going to attack with it. Is that right? So that forces the chomp on the Goblin token. That's one less blocker for them. Yeah, I think I'm supposed to attack. So I can leave it back to block, but then I guess I lose to Hydroblast regardless, because Hydroblast just kills the Psycho-Tog. So because of that, I cannot play around Hydroblast. Also, we just saw one going to the bottom of my opponent's deck because of the Ringleader, so that is a little bit less likely. Then my opponent is going to make some sort of attack here. They're definitely going to go down to 2. They're going to block with the Goblin token. Next turn, I'm going to take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 at least. So that's a forced Plowshares on one of my own creatures. Trying to think whether I should play out the Mox Diamond so I play around my opponent's double the Reshadowed Port. But I think this Mox Diamond is going to be better off just being extra life. Just pitching the land and the Tog. I guess I can just pitch everything. I could also Vision Charm to make my opponent's Carplucent Forest into another colored source. My opponent has Prospector though, so like I can't really mana screw them. Interesting. Okay, so we're going to trample my opponent down to 4. Because they're leaving themselves some access to red man. I think that's what's going on there. So yeah, so we can use the change types mode on Vision Charm to disrupt my opponent. So we're just going to pass the turn. We're gonna see what they draw. Hopefully it's a Goblin that's not a Pile Driver. Prospector. Okay, dude, I can't believe we're gonna win this game. That's incredible. That is incredible. How awesome is this? Just every part of the buffalo. we're just using every part of the buffalo. That is amazing. I'm very happy that I found this line. This game has this whole match, man, like with the whole killing my opponent by flinging a knot to their head, to their face. How insane is that? And then we just crack back with a 12-12 Trampler. So we have a 10-11, 10-11 Tog, and now we plow it. Gain 10, take a bunch, but not lethal. Dude, this has been incredible. What a match. What a match. Man, this whole league has been spectacular. we have been getting away with murder. GG's opponent, well played. What a delight. Time for the last round. Yeah, let's keep this one. We are going to go for it. Play Mox, pitch City, play Island, Dreadnought, Stifle. And your turn. So my opponent needs to have specifically turn 1. I guess they could have something like Chain of Vapor, obviously Swords to Plowshares, but they could also have something like Chain of Vapor. Flooded Strand, probably worst case scenario. Blue Source, interesting. Am I naming Phyrexian Dreadnought here? No, I'm naming Swords to Plowshares, I think. Because if they have Dreadnought, they're forced to block my my own. So we're gonna name Swords to Plowshares. And then after our Dreadnoughts trade, if my opponent is playing Blue-White Dreadnought, then we can drop another Meddling Mage, and this one is gonna name Dreadnought. Disenchant. Okay, we play on. Portent myself. So I'm gonna assume that we're playing against Landstill here. These are terrible, so let's shuffle these away. And then swing for 2 and play out the Meddling Mage, naming Wrath of God. And something like Humility actually doesn't stop me from winning. This hand was pretty spectacular, not gonna lie. We could be playing... No, there's no way we're playing against something like Replenish, because those are some funny draws. But yeah, we actually cannot be playing against something like Replenish, because they would have Seal of Cleansing instead of Disenchant. Trying to think, what can my opponent have that saves them? And whether I should play this Dreadnought. I guess they could have like Last Breath into Wrath or Plow. So I think we're just going to pass the turn. I'm assuming they can cycle Impulse. Yeah, I'm assuming they can cycle Decree, but like it just doesn't do anything. The fact that my Dreadnought connected obviously is just great for me. Humility obviously doesn't do it. Interesting. That's a way they can stop me. I guess they needed that plus Last Breath. Perfect. Okay, so now we bring in the Armageddons. We bring in the Pyroblast. We bring in the Psychotog. We are almost definitely playing against Landstill. Maybe I want Ray of Revelation. I guess I'm going to bring in Disenchants, because they can not only blow up a potential Humility, but they can also blow up Mishra's Factory. I'm going to cut the foil. I do like counter spells. Let's cut down on Dreadnoughts. Got a couple of Dreadnoughts, and I guess I'm going to cut down Stifles. They're worse than Vision Charm. I guess my opponent could have Seal, but that's fine. Let's cut a Mox Diamond, maybe even 2. Nah, 1 is fine. That's something that I've been struggling with this deck. We're so low on colored sources that even in matchups where I really don't want these Mox Diamonds, the fact that I'm so filled up with cards like Pyroblast or Fling or like Fire Ice, which I do want to cast, same thing with Armageddon, means that even though it would be a matchup where I would want to cut almost all of the Mox Diamonds, I just can't, because I'm gonna be going too low on colored sources. So that part has been annoying. Same thing against like the Rock or something like that. Like the fact that I would need to keep in Mox Diamonds against the Rock really sucks, but I feel like I would have to. Do I want Plague for tokens? Seems super narrow. Could have the 1 copy. I don't love Fling, like it's fine. Yeah, I guess it's just fine. Never mind. Yeah, I think I'd rather have Flings than Engineered Plague. Could be wrong about that, but since I'm on the draw, maybe it's better. Man, this hand is so close. Gonna have to ship it. This one is fine, so let's keep this one, bottom the Disenchant. Gonna hope to portent into some amount of lands. Maybe I should have actually bottomed the Charm instead of the Disenchant. I do like this, so let's bottom Fling. We're gonna draw the fetch land and then the opt. My opponent can drop a Standstill here, looks like they don't. So, Mana Leak is gonna be problematic regardless. I really want to be finding some land draws, but I don't want to Meddling Mage here. I think I'm just gonna portent. Portent myself. I know there's a Fling on top. Okay, these are fine, so let's once again bottom the Fling. Keep the lands, and maybe I want the Mox. We'll see. We definitely want the City of Brass. There's an Impulse. I think I may actually want the Mox. It does open me up to getting Disenchanted, which is not great for my opponent here, so that's a little bit annoying. Yeah, I'm gonna shuffle it away. Like, I'm not unhappy to draw it, but this uses my mana more efficiently. Sure, let's keep that one. This allows me to play around counter magic very nicely. Untap, play City of Brass, pass the turn. Opponent finds a land there. I think I just passed the turn. Untap, draw a card, send it back. Opponent's out there hitting land drops, which is not great for me. I could tap the island. Yeah, let's tap the island. Mostly to just cycle there. Another Vision Charm I'm not super stoked about, but here we do get to Gush, and we're going to probably have a little bit of a fight here. Wow, that's a card. Most definitely a card. Am I doing that? I think I want to get some counter spells out of my opponent's hand. So let's go for Meddling Mage here. This is going to name Swords to Plowshares if it resolves. If they Mana Leak, I'm just going to prohibit. I guess I'm going to counterspell that. And if my opponent uses a leak here, I just let that resolve, I think. They don't, okay. So let's name Swords to Plowshares. We're going to be taking it pretty nice and slow here, trying to set up this Armageddon. Oddly enough, I really wish I had a Mox. So, boo-hoo. That's a Dreadnought. Yeah, sure. Let's pick a fight here. Like, I'm still trying to resolve this Armageddon. Like, this Dreadnought doesn't really do anything for me. I will fight over this so my opponent taps out. That's the only reason I'm doing this. We do have, like, a little bit of protection. Second edition Charm with Elemental Blast is actually some decent amount of protection here. They probably have Disenchant. Face this out again. That resolved. Alright, great. We have a Dreadnought coming up. Opponent can FOF here. They don't. That's a big win for us. Alright, Mox. Let's get in there for 12. See if my opponent does anything. They cycle. If they tap out, oh, this is going to be very nice. So now we probably just win. We have Meddling Mage on Swords to Plowshares, and we have an active Dreadnought. Yeah, so the game is over now. Yeah, I think this was a mistake for my opponent. They tapped a little bit too low there. So no lands for anybody. Good luck. No lands for anybody. Alright, got there. 6-0. Wow. This deck performed much better than I originally expected. Not gonna lie. Wow, there you go. That deck really ended up working out. This was absolutely fantastic. I loved the deck. It was a little bit clunky at times, actually fairly often, and I did feel like I was getting away with murder a little bit, and I was just drawing exactly what I needed when I needed it. So on the other hand, I put the cards in the deck for a reason. You know, you kind of have that balance going on between, am I getting lucky or is the deck great and that's why I'm getting lucky, you know? So it's sometimes pretty hard to tell. It did feel like there may be something here. It did feel as well that it was a little bit rough around the edges. So I do still consider the fact that Sylvan Library could be a card that this deck could make good use of, especially because, you know, dealing with the top of the deck can be very, very helpful, especially when we have our fetch lands and we have stuff like Portent that allows us to shuffle. And that is certainly something to consider, to try to make room for. The flings were surprisingly great. You want to draw exactly one copy and never more, but yeah, it was a lot better than I was already originally expecting it was going to be. And I feel like it was more powerful to fling the Dreadnoughts than to actually Stifle, Vision Charm them, even though we did some damage with thanks to Vision Charm Stifle as well. So this deck was a lot of fun. We played some very cool matches, some very, very interesting matches. Like the match against Will was absolutely spectacular, like ending the game by just getting milled out, but like flinging a Tog at his face was just mwah, beautiful. So yeah, I really enjoyed this. This seems like a very, very fun, very interesting deck. And yeah, give it a shot, see how you like it. And that's going to be it from me today, folks. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care, and bye-bye.